Okay, let's start it. We are working on lists actually. In the last class, we had discussed about all that listing, like, how to work on slicing, how to work on one more thing is what is that comprehensions, all that. But that is not enough. We need to enhance more. Anyhow, we have many use cases to learn that we are not going to just stop there. So we'll continue today. Maybe what we do today is let me open that Python this thing. Otherwise, I can do one thing. But thing is opening this one. Python running nodes. We don't see anything here. This is not needed for us, no problem. Go and check here. Python material. We just need running nodes. That is enough. Maybe if possible, this Saturday we'll have a little lengthy session in the afternoon. Maybe I'll announce it on Friday. We'll have actually a 2 or 3 hour session so that we can cover up whatever we are missing now. Yesterday we missed a session, right? If any session we are missing, we'll cover it up like that. So that what happened to this running nodes Python underscore. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, today what we do is there are two things. What I am thinking is if I finish all this data structure topics, then covering all these topics, we can build some projects. That will be very interesting. You got it right. So let's do that now. We'll do one thing. First, we will complete all our data structures, like next tuple one, and then set, and then dictionary, and then spend some time on projects, how to use these data structures and how to build projects, like how to do data analysis using these projects. Maybe I will also would like to introduce something called matplotlib. Using this data from data structures, how do we plot data on charts? Okay, different kinds of charts are there, bar charts, there are many other charts, so that you also get that interesting this thing on that data structures as well as matplotlib. For me, if you ask me, Python is something really I really liked it. It's like, what shall I say, that is falling in love with something. If you ask me, I can keep on working with Python from morning to evening. Even I did the same today. I don't have a gap at all. I am making coding. I am doing an automation since morning. So it's all because of the simplicity of Python. Okay. I'm just sharing these things only just to create some interest in you. It's not like, what shall I say? It's not to like share my victories or something. Okay. So now coming back to this is one scenario. Well, let's do this one more program and then I'll jump to the, which topic is that? I'll jump to the tuple topic. See, I was talking in the last session as well, friends. Okay. What is that? I was talking about the importance of these sessions. Today, I had a call with, let me just take a minute or two to explain to emphasize the importance of these sessions. Right. One guy, his name is Jitendra. He is a very old student of mine. He learned Java from me. Now he is working in some MNC and he wants to switch company and he is giving interviews. Right now, he is working as a cloud engineer and he is a GCP expert. Now, today he called me because, when he attended interviews, he has some issue. I'm sharing his experience so that you also understand how useful these sessions are. And they asked him on multiple things, and Python is one area. In that Python, they asked him to write a code. Do you believe what program they asked him to write? Any guess from any one of you? Any guess? Already we had discussed that in our session. The program they asked is a very simple program. How to remove duplicates from a list. You get this? So that is the program they asked in interview to write a code for that. So then you understand how important, how we are trying to cover all those important use case scenarios. I even have informed you that these are something which people ask in interviews. And with this, with the discussion with Jitendra, I came to know about the importance of that thing. Okay, just giving you his experience so that it might help you to focus on important concepts and topics. Okay, so that is the quick information for you. I'm jumping to this program again. I'm saying whatever we are doing here. So this is going to help you a lot. This one, what is that nested list? This is a nested list, and what you and jumping back to our BAU, business as usual. This is actually a technical term we use in the companies. There are two things towards BAU and non-BAU. Whatever I had discussed still few minutes back is non-BAU, non-business, something related to your career and everything. This is BAU, right? I'm giving you important words as well so that you can use them in interviews also. If you put these words, we work on some BAU activities, something like that. Definitely interviewer have that at least that confidence that you are working professional. You got it right on some technology. I don't say you are not working, but on that particular area. Right. So now let's get into this discussion. So this is a list with nested data. Now the goal is, what is the goal? Here, create a list for each type of data and use functions for this, because sometimes I am forgetting. I should use functions. Also, I should use exceptions, exception handling as well. These are important things you have to follow when you are doing coding, right? Don't just creating a simple freestyle programming is something which everybody does. But someone who is working in a development, they follow this standard process. Okay. So let's get into this. Let's discuss this in detail. Now, first thing, okay, copy this data. I will also share the same list with you. Maybe you can also start working with me. Okay. Only thing is my humble request to all of you is small help you can do with me is what is it, friends? Please don't help me with the solution. I will explore it and get back. Okay. If you finish it, just have it with you. Okay. And share in the chat box. Got it? That is the help I need from all of you so that we can also explore, like, suppose if you don't know the solution on fly, right? You are not able to get it. Then how do you, as a layman, how do you try to find the solution? How do you Google it? Where do you go? Which websites you search and how to get that code, how to put it here. So this also gives you a thought process. This helps you to build an understanding of development. Like, it's not like we don't need, you should come to a conclusion. To do something, you don't need to be expert. But only thing you need is that curiosity and patience to work on that. That's it, friends. Just keep in mind. Okay, now if I keep talking, that becomes again a motivational sessions here. Let's go into the discussion of topic here. So now, but whatever I am sharing, these inputs are very useful to your friends. Okay. Now I shared that data here. You can see there, right? That list thing there. So yeah, yes, somebody is saying, sir, tell me, sir. Any question? Okay, you got it. That's what you are confirming. Thank you. Now let's copy this now. So problem is what? We have to create a separate list for each type of data. So now go to the PyCharm, open PyCharm. All of you open PyCharm. Please work with me if you want to get a beautiful career in Python.
Sir, could you please share your screen?
I'm not sharing screen. Oh my God. All this time I'm just doing a pep talk. Okay. Okay, fine. Anyhow, we didn't discuss much important. All this go into editing after this session. Okay. Now this is the list we are taking, friends. Can you see this list now? What is this has? This has different types of data in that. It has a nested list as well. So one scenario is flattening list. Sometimes people ask this question in interviews. And also this one, how to validate data of each type and how to put them into a list. This is actually an integer data. All that integer data you should put into one list. All this decimal data you should put into one list. All these strings you should put into one list. All this boolean you should put into one list. All this nested list you should put into one list. This is the requirement. Interesting, right? So trust me, this is going to help you a lot because I have implemented these scenarios in my project. Like when you are validating files like XML, JSON, right? So you need to iterate those files and validate what kind of data is present. I'm giving you a scenario also where you need these kind of validations. Okay, let me give you, because these things help you to crack interviews also, to speak interview with confidence. So what is that? When you are playing with XML, sorry. Okay, when you are playing with JSON, these kind of data files, okay, you need to, this XML has different varieties of data. It might have lists, it might have what is that, dictionaries, it might have this scalar data. What is that, like integers or decimals? So to validate that kind of data, you need to handle or format or I mean to analyze this kind of XML data. You have to do you have to know these kind of validations. That is one thing. Even when you are playing with JSON, if you want to process a JSON file and if you want to do analysis on a JSON file, again you need to do validation on JSON. And to do that validation, again you need to have this scenario, this kind of validating scenario. You need that. Got it, right? So just keep in mind, friends. Now getting to the point, let's go to the PyCharm and then create a file here. Okay, right click and then new.
Sir, sorry, I'm not visible your screen, sir.
How about others? Everyone has same problem or only it's for Tulsi or I think anyone have any issue? I think others have no problem with that. Tulsi, I think you should have some network problem. Please correct that, fix that network issue. Okay. So this session, this scenario, what we are sorry. And also you should have some understanding of how to use HTML in your code to display your outputs. That is one more something we need to discuss. I will talk about all that little later. It is too early for those kind of use cases. Okay. Now create a Python file and just give it as, what is the program we are doing? We are doing a list underscore flattening. Okay. Just give it like that. And while doing flattening, we'll cover up two scenarios: how to extract data and put it into separate list for each type of data. That is one scenario. So this is our data or list. I'm going very slowly because my only thing is it's not about how much fast we go, but how much consistent we are and how much we are grasping is important. Okay. Now program is list flattening is one scenario. Okay. Before list flattening, first thing, splitting this into splitting parent list. We can call this as parent list into multiple lists according to data. This is one scenario. First scenario one is that. Next one, scenario two. Flattening, we can do it in multiple ways. I'll show you different ways of playing with that. Second scenario, what is that? A list of flattening. Okay. To cover all this itself will be today's session time will be enough for us. Okay. FLATTENINC. Okay. Let's do this. Now we know First thing, if you want to get data from this list, we all know that we should iterate this, right? We should iterate this list. If you want to extract data, extract each type of data from this list, we should iterate the list. Is that clear? Before that, create a couple of lists according to data type. Now, what is that? I'm creating a list. Okay, what list? First one, int list. Okay, which has all int, or you can, yeah, let it be empty one. Okay, create all empty lists now. Before you go and process, or if you go and iterate or do validation, before that, what is that you should do? Create what? This empty list according to data, int list, and then what is the other one? Float list. Okay, this is how you should create, friends. And then next one, string list. Okay. Okay, and then Boolean list, bool list otherwise simply. And one more is okay, list itself. Okay, a list underscore. Maybe I'll put it as list itself. Okay, list. Okay, otherwise I'll put like this. So I created how many lists here? 5 lists, because we have 5 different types of data. By looking at that, we can understand that. Now let us start iterating this list, validate each data, and based on that data, based on that type of data, we try to put that data into each bucket here. We have created 5 buckets for each data. Integer bucket for int type of data, float bucket for float data, string bucket for string data, bool bucket for bool data. I mean bool list. What I mean is, okay, list bucket for to pass list data. Now doing validation here. What is that validation for? Some list in, what is that? List 1, or some for some data in list 1 colon. Now what is that you should do? You should do a validation. Do you remember in the very beginning we had discussed about one method? What is that method? About type method. Do you remember? To check type of each value, because you know this for iterates every element in that list, including this list as well. But this lists are written as a list only. This whole list is treated as one value, and this whole list is treated as one value. Maybe if you want to again extract that, you have to do flattening. Okay, you have to do again. You have to do a nested iteration and then try to extract data from the inner list or sub list. Okay, fine. Now what is the point here? We had discussed about type method. To validate each type of data here, we use that type. We know this is int type, this is a list type, this is float type, this is string type, this is Boolean type, right? Just you need to validate that if, okay, type of data, right? Simple. Just take that data, take that value from list, check what is that type. If it is int, okay, equal to int, just directly say int, you can put colon. Then what I should do? Simple, right? Now put that value into int bucket. Simply you can say int hyphen. To add any value to a list in the previous classes we had discussed, which method should we use? Dot append, right? To that, add that data. We are done. Now, after observing this scenario for one type of data, now after seeing this for int data, how to handle int data, you can automatically create remaining scenarios. How to extract float data, how to extract string data. Very simple, right? Just a matter of elif conditions, right? Else if type of, you can just copy the other part here. Type of data equal to, okay, you can copy till this and apply scenario. What is that? Type of data equal to what is that? You can choose anything, float, suppose, colon. Then what is that I should do? If that data is float, then put it into float bucket. Okay, float list dot append of what is that, friends? Data. Similarly, what is that? You can copy now the whole part, paste it one more time, paste it one more time, and finally you can use else if you want. Okay. Now here again, just make a small change. If type of data equal to, okay, simply str. Else, if type of, here just change this list here. Instead of float list, if data is string, I should put that data into string bucket. So simply say string list, okay, and make sure you are properly providing that. Okay, fine. Similarly, next one, bool list. If type of data equal to bool, okay, then what is that I should do? Put bool list. Next, similarly, else finally remaining, will be this one. Maybe if you want to be more precise, okay, then you can add that elif. Still, you can continue with elif, but here this ends with what? This ends with the last thing is nothing but remaining is that only which one list. So we can just add that in the else part. And still, if you are doubtful, then you can apply type check again. See, if you have a doubt on that again, still you have opportunity to apply a type check if that is a list. Okay, then what is that? Then I should say list dot append of what? This data again. See, simple, right, friends? That's all. This is how you can extract each type of data and put that type data into separate buckets like this, friends. What each list I call it as a bucket here. What I mean is, and simple validation. You iterate it and see what is the type and check and just try to put that data into that corresponding bucket here. Right? That's all, friends. You can see, so simple. This is interesting, right? And this will be very helpful to you. Just trust me. Okay, this is a scenario that helps you when you are doing development. Here it seems to be very simple one, a very easy one as well. But this is going to help you a lot when you are building or when you are processing data sets like JSON data sets or XML data sets. Remember, okay? Maybe I'll bring up those use cases. So we'll take some XML files and JSON files, and then we do analysis on that type of data. That helps you to, for you to understand better or deeper. Fine, this is done, friends. Maybe you need to do, all you need to do is print. What is that? The int bucket is, the int list is, and then put a placeholder and then dot format. Okay. And then int list. Put it here. Just pass that. Okay. Similarly, copy paste remaining prints and then just what is that you need to do? So once you complete, once this iterator is completely iterated, if this is completely executed, then only all that data will be separated into these lists to each of these lists. So what you do is keep your print statements once that iterator is completely executed, friends. Okay, don't try to put prints inside the if itself. Allow that iterator to iterate, and then let's have that data completely separated, and then finally do the print of outside the loop or outside the iterator, not inside iterator. Okay, so this is int list. This is, what is this? Float list, and this is maybe you need to change few things here. The float list is, and this is string list. Okay, and maybe if you want instead of this one, you can say string. And similarly, we need two more. What is this, friends? Two more print statements, and then copy bool list and just print it here, bool list. And also here, instead of string, you can simply just say bool, or else you can copy in both places to make it fast. Okay. And finally, what is the last one here? A list of lists. Okay. Now run this. Just quickly test it. Okay. Now you can see here. See, this is the output, friends. Do you find it all that data is separated properly? Can you see here? Like however we had discussed, right? We are able to separate that data into each separate lists. All ints into one list, all float into one list, all strings into one list, all boolean into one list, all lists into one list. You got it right? So this is how we can, what is that, create separate lists of according to your data, friends. Got it right? This helps you. This is a very useful scenario, friends. Just trust me. This is all about what? Just creating separate list for each type of data. Right? One scenario one is done. Next, second scenario. What is second scenario? Second scenario is a flattening list. Okay, how to flatten a list here? Simple. You can create one flatten list, right? Flatten underscore list equal to an empty one. Right now, start iterating list for item in list one. Okay, colon. Then that is not enough. See, other things we can directly append. We can directly this all scalar data. Scalar means which is not a collection. Vector means which is collection. Just remember all this. Like I mean the primary data, primitive data, we can directly add it. We don't need to do any flattening. But flattening is needed for what? This kind of nested list. So the point is simple. What is it? If you find something a list here or something a data structure, if it is a list or if it is a tuple, if it is a dictionary, if it is a set or anything, then again iterate it, reiterate it and extract each element from that. Got it right? So this is how you have to recursively do that. Suppose if there is an inner list inside this sublist, again you have to do that. You got it right? So that's how you have to do it, friends. So now what is that you should do? Maybe you can use a concept called recursion here. What is that you should do? A concept called recursion. Okay, we didn't functionize this code. We have to add function code as well. I'll show you how to just transform this into a function, simple functions, and also add exception handling to this. That is also important. Okay, I'll just show you all that step by step. So this is like what is that? Watching a simple development process in a phase wise improvements. Okay, let's see this now. This flatten list is fine. When I should do reiterate data, you can directly take flatten list dot append of what is that item. This is fine. If you do if you are doing the same, again we are again copying same data into the another list. That's all. We don't have any flattening happening here. Nothing like flattening happens now. So what is that check you should do? Right, simple. If one simple check is, we know that has a nested list. Okay, if type of data, type of item, if that item, right, equal to list, right, then what is that you should do? Again you have to do, if it is list, then you have to again perform iteration, right? You can see this. If it is list, again you should do reiteration here. You can see I put one more for inside that if, and I am iterating. Which one I should iterate? Not list one. I should iterate if that item is list, then I should iterate item now, not list. Don't do that. Now what is that I should do? Here, while iterating that item, which is nested list, here I should add that flatten list dot append. And this will definitely do the flattening. If it is list, do another iteration and extract each item from that sublist and then add that to the flatten list. So this will help you to flatten that nested list, right? Else what? If it is not a list, other than list, we don't need to iterate any other thing because all are just primitive type of, all are core data types here. This int or float or string or boolean. So we don't need any extra iteration on such type of scalar data. Only we need extra iteration on vector data, which are nothing but collections, okay, which is a sublist here. And same process you can follow for tuple or dictionary or set or something. You got it right? Maybe there will be a small change the way you iterate dictionary or set, but the process is same. Now else, what is that you should do? You can simply say this one. So that's all, friends. You got it right. If it is a list, Then again iterate that and then append that data to the flattened list. Else directly append that data to the flattened list. You don't need to do any iteration on other type of data other than this list sublist. Got it right? Now finally, what is that you should do? Print what? You can print that flattened list here. Okay, right click on this and run this now. You get two outputs. One output is for that separated list. Okay, that is scenario one. Second scenario, you can see this is the output. Can you see any? You can see all that data got merged into a single list here. We don't find any other nested lists or something here. Can you see the output here? Right. So that is how you can do flattening on list prints. That is one scenario. Understood now? Right. So there is another scenario. Maybe what you can do, you can try to get the index of each list and then merge that with the parent list. That is one more scenario. It's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. So this is one scenario. There are multiple ways where you can apply flattening. I will also we will do one thing. We will go and check in Google what different ways we have to flatten a list. This is one thing, right? Now I'm sharing this code with you and we are not stopping here today. We are going to again refine this code. What is that we do? Let's refine it. If you are stopping here, then you are just stopping at a learner level. If you want to take it to the next level, one thing what you should do is always make sure you add functions. And in that functions, make sure you provide exception handling. That is what we call error handling. This is very important. So we are moving again one more step ahead. It's simple. Create two functions. Okay, what is that? So one function is simple. You can have global lists here. Actually, I'll talk about few more important DEF. So data underscore list get. Maybe you can write like this. Get. There are different ways you can create like this. Or see, different people create different ways. This is one way of creating functions. This is what generally we can do. One approach. Another approach is most developers what they follow is camel case, something like get data. Okay, list. Now data list means based on the type of data we should get that list, and the input is always a list here. Don't put direct list. List is a built-in class. So give some list one or something. Okay, or something like input list. Otherwise, you can say some input list here. And make sure the user understand you are passing list here. That makes more sense. Okay. Next after that. After that, what is that? Just copy this code. You don't need to do anything. There are two ways to handle this code. I'll just show you. Put this code inside this. Done. We are done with adding functions to the code. You got it right. And one thing here, if you see, I kept all these declarations, all these lists outside the function. So this acts as global list so that this function can directly access that data, and also we can use this lists wherever we want directly without any returning. You got it right? What I'm saying. So simple thing. If one scenario is making this list as a global list. When you put this outside function, this becomes global variables, and these global variables can be accessed by this function and anywhere within this program. So this is one case. Whichever you think should be global, put it as a global variables. All this list should be global, put it there. Another one, right? So this helps you. Right, let me just go step by step. Let us go with this scenario. You got it right? What is that scenario? We created a list and then we declared this variables as global variables. So the easiest part is global means something outside function, inside program. If you declare variables inside function, they are called local variables. I'll talk about all this. We need to again revisit function topic. There are some leftover topics in function like parameter types, all that. While talking about it, I will also cover that all different types of variables. For a quick recap, for quick this thing, what I'll do is this is global data, something declared outside function. If you declare variables inside function, they are called local variables. Local variables are visible only within that function or method. Global variables are visible throughout that program. You got it right? They are visible throughout that program by any function you declare in that code. You got it right? So this is the idea. First, let's go with this approach. Okay. Now I created a function, but if this function should get work, what is that I should do? I have to call this. If I don't call function, it won't work. If I should print all that list variables. Before this, what is that I should do? Just 1 minute. Right? Put this comment here on top of this one. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing, why you are creating this function? Just you can copy the requirement. So you can add that requirement here. What is this doing? Splitting parent list into multiple lists. Multiple lists simply as per data. As per type of data. Let me make it more sense. Okay, that's it. So you have to add comments like this. Now, before I print it, first I should make sure we are calling function. So what do you do? Simply, you can. This is not returning anything, so we don't have any problem. So you can directly call it. Just call getData. Okay, data list. Okay, and put a parenthesis. And to this you should pass. You can see there. You can see the function. It takes as list as input, which is nothing but your parent list. Okay, so that you pass as parameter to this caller. Okay, then this will do the needed functionality. This will help us to implement this scenario, that splitting list. Okay, so that's all, friends. This function will do the necessary job and we get the expected results. Finally, after calling this function, make sure you do the printing here. Now, what do you do? Right click and run this. Now you get the same output, no doubt about that. You can see output doesn't change. What changed? The way we created program changed. Similarly, let's create one more function for this as well. What is that? For flattening also, what I would like to do is, so I will create one more function here itself after get data list. Okay. So now what is that I should do? Def. Okay, get flat list. Okay. And then put a parenthesis and then take again pass a parameter as input list here or parent list or anything which makes more sense to that variable. It's not fault list. It should be flat list, friends. Okay. Now what is that you should do in this code? You have to again see already we implemented logic and we know how this functionality works. So I'm just copying all this and then just copying this and just adding to the function. And what this function does here, it performs a list flattening. Okay, so just add that comment here. Make sure you follow all this standard process. Okay, and then again maybe you can do, what is this here? Iterating a list. You can add that again. One thing. Okay, iterating a list. Again here also in place of list or somewhere. Okay, where is that? Yeah, we are reiterating here, right? On top of this one, again iterating, you can write this iterating sublist so that someone who don't know also quickly get some idea. Okay, here we are doing iterating sublist. Okay, here we are iterating this one. Which one? The actual parent list. So by looking at comments, at least your other fellow developer should get some idea about your code. That's how you have to create your code. Okay, iterate list one. That's all. Finally, I think we put enough sufficient comments to understand what we are doing this code. Right. Next one after that is finally we created this another function for getting flat list. Okay, maybe if you want, you can add still more meaningful flatten list. Otherwise, anything is fine. We don't have a problem. Now, Important thing is calling this function. This is also not returning anything. And if this function is not returning anything, you just simply call it. You don't need to assign that caller to any variable here. Okay. Usually if it is returning, assign it to some variable, that function call to some variable. Else just directly call it. Again, just pass same parent list to that get fat list as well. Now after that, anyhow, we did whatever we need to do. But the only thing is this variable has to go to the top. Where this has to go. So this has to go to the top, and this comment also go to the top. Okay. Flatten lists have flattening data. Other lists have that corresponding data in each list. Okay, data of their type. Other list have data of their type. Whatever the type of that their data, that will be sit in this list here. Finally, what is that I should do? I should add one more printer. That's all right. What is that print here? Simply copy this, and I doubt print is also there. Okay, you can simply just bring it little upper, and then you just put it here. Maybe if you want, you can add a small comment as well. What is that? So this is like doing a bit of cooking for me. I'm feeling that. What is that? How to do each step one after the another. We are doing code cooking, simply speaking. Okay. The flattened list is, what is that? The flattened list is, then what is that you should do? Dot format of, you can pass that here. And this placeholders will become very handy. You don't believe, friends. Practice using placeholders. Even initially it is difficult for you. In future, in many places, this placeholders becomes handy for you. Trust me. Okay. Now look at this code and look at previous code. See, this is refined code where we added a bit of functions here, and then we just refined this. Of course, everything is same, but only thing what is that we did, and maybe you can add a few comments here. What is this? Printing data. Okay. Variables. And then here calling functions. Just add some comments like this, which makes some sense to the code. It's like adding signboards when you are traveling on a road. Okay. So this is more refined code. Still, you can refine it better. Got it right? I'm just giving you one level of refinement for you. But after looking at this, which one looks better for us? This is actually more of a professional approach, but still we can make more changes. It's not like we are done here. Still, we can optimize this. So what do you have to do now? If you want, you can go and ask our, are you good till this, friends? I'm sharing this code with you. First thing, let me share this code. I think the previous version I have already shared. Now the next version I'm sharing with you. Okay, this is latest version with functions. I don't know why these days this code is getting, when I paste it, it's not getting in a correct format. Okay, no problem. We'll check on this later. Are you good with this? Now, as a programmer, still if you want to know more, what you can do, copy this code. Okay. This is outside office, not inside office. Inside office, you don't have all this. Okay, these kind of advantages. Okay, when you're outside office, now take this code, ask ChatGPT if it can refine it better. Okay, just add here. First thing, let's refresh it first. Otherwise, so go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT. What you ask? And don't directly ask everything in ChatGPT. First, you try your version and ask it. Refine this code, buddy. Okay, I'm just adding a fun thing, but usually we can say refine code. It will do the job for that. Let's see if it makes any changes. I don't see it's making any changes. Okay, almost it followed the same. See, I don't see it make just here. It added something instance instead of type. The change it made, What is that change it made? Okay, also one more thing, instead of hard coding list one. Okay. So that's all. We didn't hard code any list one here. Okay. And also it's saying don't use list one here. What is the code I created here? One small changes. Still I am using list one here, right? One thing is don't depend on that if you create. You have to use the input variable. Yeah, this is a correction, friends. See, don't use list one here. If you are passing your input to this function, I should use. I didn't make this change. Anyhow, usually if I get error, then I would have modified. Unfortunately, this is a global variable, right? This one is a global. So we are able to access it everywhere, friends. Right? Got it now? If you don't want that to happen, you should do one thing. You pass it from the bottom. Then we don't have these issues. Okay. So that's all, friends. And if you want to create, what is that? One more refinement. If what is that? We created that main thing, right? You remember? So underscore main equal to, sorry, underscore name. This is one more refinement you can do, or you can directly create a main function. I believe, friends, you don't need to say this one def main and then just put this. Okay. And then you can add all your code in that. Okay. Like this. Creating a driver program is also always a best thing. Now here you can do one thing to avoid this kind of conflicts. What is that? Just now we have faced, right? I used listed directly in that. You do one thing. Just pass this here. Okay. Create this input list in the main function. Now we are creating a proper program here, friends. You don't need to, like, next one. Remove this. Okay. Now this should fine. Now what is that? We created a driver program where we created list and calling methods, which methods will pass this. Now if in this case, if I use that list one here, I get an error, immediately I'll try to copy this and put it here. This makes more sense for us. Creating a driver program. Generally, we do have that, friends. When we work in our this thing. Here also now we put list one, you get error. Then automatically you don't forget that we should use this. Which one? The parameterized variable. So again put that input here. Now everything looks perfect, but we need to test it once. If it is running, fine. Now right click. Are you good with this, friends? This is adding driver program, one more version. See, earlier we ran the program without driver. Keeping main and having all that callers, everything in main is nothing but it's called a driver program. Got it right? Technically, we call it as a driver. You can call main method also, right? You got it right. Now I am sharing this also with you. Next, after this is, what is that next one? Another thing is, let's run this first of all. Does it work or not is important one. So this is not working. So then if it don't work, the other option for us is, what is that? Condition check. What is that? If, okay, just a minute, friends. If underscore equal to, right? What is that? I should say in single quotes, underscore main underscore. Then I should do all this. Let's try this one now. This is the one somebody asked it in our session as well sometime back. Okay, so this should work mostly. I directly put main. It's not working. I believe we can use it, but it's okay. Let's not waste much time. Run this now. Now you can see it's working now. Perfect. Now we added a proper driver program and it's all working. But only thing is time to time, what is that? We are refining code. Now I am pasting this again with you. Use that. Okay. Next after this. What else? Suppose again I am refining little more. We use all this list as global variables. All this data buckets as global variables. Now what I do? Copy this. Okay, I put data list. Okay, data underscore list here as in comment. Now put that inside method. Let's push that all that variables into a method as local variables. What variables? Local. If you put this as local, right? And remove all this here. Now remove this data here, right? It's up to you. In program, what to follow is all need and necessity, friends. If you ask me a question, which one should we follow, Manoram? The answer is simple. It all depends on the scenario, what you are implementing. If that scenario demands that data, that variable should be global, make it global. Or if that scenario demands if the variable should be local, put inside method. It all depends on that requirement, friends. Okay, for now, I'm showing both cases. Here we can follow any scenario. It works for us. But in a real coding, not every time we don't declare global variables. Not every time we declare local variables. It depends on the requirement. Just keep in mind, friends. Okay. Finally, next one. Also, this flattening list also just make it local. I'll show you one new another important observation here. What is that? Come here. Put this inside code, inside method. Okay, as a local variable. Now you can see lot of errors here. See, all these variables are throwing errors. Why? If they are global, that global variables we can access them anywhere in the program directly. Now, as soon as we just move that variables, all these global variables as local variables, move that variables into method, these variables become local variables. An important point is local variables are visible only within that method, not outside that method. You got it right, friends? It's like local. Now, again, same thing here also. Right? This also becomes local, then this is visible only within that method. Okay, fine. All that is fine. Now you are actually implementing the functionality and filling all these variables with data. That is fine. But how do I get this data in my driver program is the question. How do I get all these variables from function to my driver program? Simple, right? What is that? Just return all that data. What is that? Return all that variables from this function. So simple thing I should do is simply I should say return at the end. Put this return at the end. Once after all that functionality is implemented, add return at the end of function. Make sure you are following indentation properly. If you don't follow indentation, you get an error. This return I put inside for loop C, which is not actually I'm doing a mistake here, which is not the actual thing to do. Got it right? So put it outside for inside function following the function indentation here. So return, what is that I should do? Return int list. Okay, this is interesting for you. Return float list, comma. Okay, we can return multiple values in Python. If it is C, C++, Java or C#, we can't return multiple values. But in Python, you can return multiple values like this, separated, each value separated with comma. So bool list, okay. And one more is what? List of lists, okay. Or list of lists we can say. Okay, that should be fine. We can correct the grammar a little later. Okay, fine. This is what you should do, friends. Right? If you make your variables as local, and if that local variables are filled with some results, then you should return them here like this. Right? If you store some results with, if you store your local variables with some results, and that should be written back, then you should do like this. See? Finally, again, same thing for this also. I want to flatten list, have all that flattening information, flattening list. So simply what you can do. So the greatest advantage with PyCharm is it gives you that lines here, and you can see that lines and do the indentation without any mistakes. Return, what is that? I flatten list. Okay, I should do that. That's it, friends. We are good there. Okay, fine. Finally, what is that I should do now? Once you written all that, assign. See these functions now. Quick question. Are these functions returning value or not? What's your answer? They are returning. If they are returning, then assign this function call to some variable in the driver program. What is that here? Data underscore list equal to. So assign this caller to a variable like this when a function is returning some results. Okay, it might be one result or multiple results. When function is returning result, then assign it to some variable. Similarly, here also flat underscore list equal to, right? Then assign this get flat list also to this variable. Now, right, what is that? We don't need these. We have just two variables here. So what is that I should do? Simply, I can just simply do one thing. I can use two prints for now. What is that I should do? Just two prints here. One is data underscore list. Okay, it has all different type of data list. Okay, int list or all that. Okay, next one. Here also put data list is. Okay. Now here flat list. Pass here flat list. Okay, and just change this also to flat list. Okay, that's all. Now run this now. So what would be there here, friends? Any guess? When you return multiple values from a function, all these values are converted to something called tuple. What happens? All these are converted to tuple. Here tuple is returned. Tuple is something like list. Like how list holds different types of data. Tuple also is a collection where we can put different types of data. Only difference is list is what? I'll talk more on this in next class. List uses index. Tuple uses square brackets, something this round brackets. That is the difference. And there are a few more differences. Let's not get into that details now. Okay, now run this now. Now, as discussed, you can see the first one. You can see this. You can see this list. All that data which we converted to the list. All lists are added to a tuple. You can see a round bracket here. If you see these kind of brackets, then this is a tuple. Square brackets, then it is a list. Okay, and anyhow, flattened list is written as a flattened list. Okay, and maybe you can ask me a question. What is that question, Manoram? Can we again extract each of this list separately from a tuple? Answer is simple, right? Iterate it. In each iteration, it will get one list. That's all, friends. Because each list is here is a value. Here is one value, friends. What is that? Each list here is one value. It's not like we have, right, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not 4 values. This whole list is treated as one value. You got it, right? You might have 4 inside that, but for tuple, this is one object, and this is one object. This is one object, like that, friends. You got it, right? So now what is that I want to do? If you want, what is that? If you want object by object, each list is each sublist is one object. If you want it object by object, then what is that you should do? If you are really interested in that, simply what you can do is for list in, because all those are lists, right? Or you can say li in, I can say data list colon, just simply print li. This gives you all each object. This what this will do? This will iterate object by object, and so that you can get each of this from the sublist from the tuple. Now right click, run this. Let's see, indentation is followed. Yes, definitely. Now what is that you should do? I just iterated that tuple, which is returned as which is stored into data list, and getting that each object iterating object by object here. Got it right, friends? So right click, run this, and see here. Now if you look at the output, what happened here? We got each list extracted from the tuple one by one. You can see here. You can see the output. So this is what you can. Tuple is same as list. Only difference is syntactically there is a slight difference, and tuple is immutable, whereas list is mutable. These are quick differences, but don't worry about all that. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So this is all about what? How to iterate a tuple and extract each element separately, or how to iterate a tuple and get element by element, object by object. So simply we can put a simple for loop here. So this is how what we can do, friends. You can see we just refined our code into multiple phases in this one session. And using this is important. All this approach is important. And one more thing still I didn't add here is what is that, friends? exception handling. What is the important scenario we should do? Whenever you are doing this, adding exceptions to the code is very important. So putting all your code into try block is important, and followed by that try should be followed by, what is that? It should be followed. It should be followed by exception. Okay, so you can see there except, and I forget this. What is that we should put? There is except some, just a minute. Let us search it quickly. PyCatch in Python. Don't use in Java. Okay. I keep using every day, but I forget it today. So simply exception. Not this. I want something which prints that information. I'll show you that also. That one I need, not this one. These are simple things. Let me use the one which we use regularly in our code. Just a minute. This guy is very simple one then. No, this is just only at our, yeah, this one. Okay, except some exception as E. Then E dot something we can put. Now, except, put this, friends. Using exception in your code is always, try catch block is must, friends. This is a very important part of code hygiene. You know, right? Hygiene means keeping clean. If you want to maintain a proper code hygiene, this is important. Here you don't need IO error here. Just pass what is that exception itself as E. You can use exception is the parent of all exceptions. I'll talk more about it when we discuss exception handling topic. But for now, remember this, and then just print E dot. You can use generally we print like E dot something. E dot some name or something, not args. Definitely, I know that. Huh?
Trace with traceback. Or print traceback.
I don't see that here. That thing, right? E dot that is with the traceback.
I think we'll be adding one method with traceback. Yeah.
Okay, I'll anyhow I'll check and let you know, because we use something else also, some name or something. Okay, we can do one thing. First thing, you don't need trace. Okay, we'll go with two approaches. Let's use this traceback, what it prints, and also remove that and print and see what it uses. So finally we are good. But still return is throwing some error. Make sure you put it in a right place. Where is that I should put here? Generally we can, yeah, one important thing is this has to be, copy this from here. Don't put that here. Return has to be inside try block, friends. Where it should be? It should be inside try block. Okay. Follow indentation, right? Still there is, and also add one more return after this one here. Return. So if everything is fine, return this list, else return none. Okay, this is fine. I'll fix this. No problem. Not a big problem. We can pass it here. Okay, here the indentation issue is here. With this local variables, even this has to be in the. Okay, here it should. This is one thing. And try has to be after that. And then now you return. We can see here this error is removed. And then except X, is it following the same thing? Let me just see. We can also apply a simple, see, except is not in the exact this thing. We can use Control Shift Alt L, I believe. Yeah, run. See, it's formatted
Control
out.
Alt L.
Yeah. I think it's already done, Naveen. Okay. So mostly it's fixed that issue, and only this one. add this return none. See, errors are removed just like that. What is the mantra I followed? I'll just type here. Use that if you want. Okay. If you want to format your format code in PyCharm, what is that I should do? I have to use Control plus Alt plus. Okay. One more is Shift. You can catch it in any way you want. Plus L. Okay. So this is the control thing we have to follow. See, now that automatically formatted everything. I didn't do any extra efforts. Else, it's not coming to this thing senses like in just if we are trying ourselves. That's it, friends. Right. Similarly, do the same for what? Even same for this thing also. What is that? You have to add a try. Okay, copy this. Just add it here. You might think why Manoram is spending so much of time on all this. Tomorrow, if you go to development, you remember me at least once in a while. It's not like I want you to remember, because these are something which we do regularly in our development, okay, in our automations. Right. So if you want to see one more quick tip for you, if you want to move the whole code, see, if I want to put, because we have to put all that code inside try. You don't need to say move one line separately. Do one thing simply. Quickly, what you can do, copy all this block. Just press tab. It will automatically push one tab into that inside that try. If you want to push more, to one more tab. Like that, you can format your code. You got it right? This is one thing. After try, what is that you should do? Copy this as is. Don't need to do anything. Put it here. Parallel to try. Not little inside, little outside. It should be exactly on the same this thing as try. Okay. Same indentation as try. Okay. This is fine. Now finally copy this guy, and after at the end of except. See, you have to return actual value from the try itself, and you should put one more return as a safer this thing, because as you are returning here, so you can say if you are not getting expected some value, just return none. If some issue happens, some exception happens, then you can say return none. When you say return here itself, it will automatically return data. It won't come to exception. Got it right? Return will immediately, whenever your code executes return, control immediately return back to the caller. It won't stay there, and it doesn't wait for exception to get executed. Anyhow, exception will this block gets executed only if any issue is there in the try block. Got it right? In other cases, we don't go to exception. Right. And anyhow, in this code, I don't think we have any errors, so we don't have any possibility of getting this error, but we'll create some. As a developer, we create errors and see how it is working as a part of testing. That we see in next class, not today. Already we have run out of time. Now you can see everything is working as expected. See the output. Okay, we are getting this tuple as return value and this flattened list as return value. Also, we iterated and then tried to made sure that get object by object here, all list objects, each one by one. This is the how we can add many things to your code. Okay, add many, like what shall we say? Every thing here is very valuable thing. I'll add valuable things to your code, friends. Even you can add try block here also, friends. Okay, try an exception even in the driver program. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. This is all about what is that? A clear and crisp way of what is that? Adding code. Still, you can see there, right? See, when you look at the one important thing is ChatGPT. When I ask ChatGPT refine, you can see here, friends, what it is. Almost our code is fine, but it is using is instance. It's okay, fine. In place of is instance, you can use type of. No, that is not a big issue. Okay, that's all, friends. Hope this session is useful to all of you. Right, friends? Any more questions? So this is a overall, right? This thing of your simple application. What is it? splitting your data into that list into multiple lists as per data. That is one scenario. Second scenario, flattening lists and then adding functions, adding exceptions. There is so much involved in this program, friends. Okay, so that's all for today. Shall we stop here? If you have questions or if you didn't understand anything, you can stay back. We can discuss. Or if you are good, then we can talk tomorrow. Okay. Are you good with all this? No.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll stop here, friends. Okay. See you. Catch you back tomorrow.